Welcome back to Toys on Tap. This week is the creator of Nubs, SioPio. He comes on and we're so excited that he did. He has had so many career jumps and has firmly landed in toys. And we're really excited that he's there because, man, is he creating something good. Either it's a mix of food or his new company, Nubs, in which Toys on Tap is partnering with him in. If you want more Toys on Tap, you can like, follow, rate, review wherever you get podcasts. Those cost you nothing, but it allows us to do more stuff because more people are listening. If you want to follow us and see what we're doing, you can follow us on all socials at Toys on Tap. And if you want to jump on, we have every episode now going on YouTube. We're pumped about it. The subscribers are growing, which is really cool. You get to actually see what the set looks like or what we're doing, how we're talking, body language, all that good stuff. We want to take a second to really just say thank you for all the listeners and all the people that are on all of our socials and watching the videos and commenting and liking and sharing and all the cool things. Thank you, because this wouldn't be possible without you. We would still do it, but it would be such a struggle. We love this community so much. It is a love letter that we built and want to just continue to give back to the toy community. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's get to this week's episode of Toys on Tap. Yeah, I'm super pumped that you're on. We met by going to shows together and by vending together. So I'm really excited to get to talk to you because you have such a unique perspective on art. And I will tell you this, that only like 3 or 4 times has it happened where I've seen a piece and I'm like, yeah, we want to produce that for someone. And you were one of them. So I'm really excited to talk today.
Thank you. Yeah, just seeing your excitement when I brought the prototype to Indie Toy Con and showed you there before it was even a thing. And your eyes lit up that day. And then by Collected Con, I had the prototypes and we're off and running from there.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about all that, which is so good. But please introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what you do.
Yes. My name is Tony Coppolillo, and my company name is the phonetic spelling of my last name, Copolillo. So SioPio, that's me. My background. Well, can I break convention here? Can I?
Please do.
Okay. So I made up a stupid list here that I just want to blast through like bullet points. And then we can like come back and circle back to any of them if we want.
Yeah,
or if we don't, then that's okay. So my background, like all Gen X, we grew up on Star Wars. I wanted to do special effects and make movies. And instead, I ended up studying architecture. I worked in civil engineering for a few years, which led me into the world of 3D. And then somehow I transitioned into working in major motion picture marketing. So I was doing movie posters and all the big billboards for blockbuster movies. We can get into that if you want to talk about that part of my life.
I mean, you've already just like 3 things that I really want to talk about. That's so crazy. So civil engineering is wild. Like that is such a crazy title. You don't like here. We don't meet that many civil engineers or people that are going into that, which is cool.
Yeah.
I did time in the Middle East.
We're going way back though. We're going decades back.
Hey, so that's definitely okay.
And I was low man on the totem pole there. But yeah.
I did time in the Middle East, and they like everyone you talked to there was like civil engineer, some kind of engineer outside of that. Like that was all, and then they would use that to either come to
infrastructure
the US and so
definitely.
I mean, why'd you choose civil engineer? We have so much.
It's funny because I didn't choose it. I fell into it because I wanted to be an architect. So from early age, I grew up in the generation of Brady Bunch.
Yeah,
and Mike Brady, the dad, was an architect, and I loved the house, the mid-century modern stuff. And even as a little kid, I like had this attachment to that style. I think looking back in hindsight, I would have probably rather have become an interior designer than an architect per se. But so I went to school to study architecture, and then when I graduated and got out, I just fell into the position that was available as a draftsman for a civil engineering company. So I helped design like Walmart parking lots and like the
Yeah.
drainage where the water runs through the parking lot and hits the curbs and all that. And I'm mapping out the parking stalls and everything for that, storm drain culverts and like where water runs off during storm. Really, really, really boring stuff, like coloring within the lines type of thing. And it was, I'm noticing this pattern in my life that, you know, I get into something and then I really despise it and I wish I did something else. And even
Yeah.
during school, I wish, instead of going to architectural design, I wished I was going to art school.
Mm.
And even to this day, you know, hindsight, go back decades now, I think that was the biggest mistake in my life, is not going to like art center or one of those schools. But I eventually fell into it because recessions happened, the economies and all that kind of stuff. I ended up moving to San Francisco and I got involved into graphic design. And then from there, I was offered, you know, Dan Dazer Toys.
Yeah.
He's been on the show. He was down here in Los Angeles working, and I was up there. He came up with his buddy, and his buddy offered me a job to move to LA and work on like movie ad campaigns for newspapers. And back in the day when you looked up showtimes for movies in the newspaper.
Yeah.
So we were repurposing art. So other companies were doing the posters, and then we'd get the poster art and then we'd just convert it to black and white and make sure the ink density was right for newsprint and that kind of stuff. And more boring stuff again.
All
And then
necessity. Like
all
all the things
necessity,
you
yeah, yeah,
described are very essential to like normal life.
yeah, 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 but boring, in a sense. I mean, it was kind of cool to say, oh, I worked on that poster. Like when you look up a movie to go see the showtimes, like, oh, I made that piece of that art in the newspaper, but I didn't make that piece of art. And I got to a point where it's like, I want to make that piece of art. So I started poking around the industry and making phone calls, and I ended up working at one of the most prestige movie poster finishing houses in Los Angeles. And a small boutique studio. And it was only 3 of us as the main artists at the time. And I think at some point we got up to 12 of us when at the peak of everything. But I worked on motion picture campaigns for some of the biggest movies you grew up watching and seeing. Like
Hmm.
we're talking Disney, Pixar, Matrix, Pirates of the Caribbean, like all the Avatar, all that stuff. I did all the posters for that. And it was like the peak of my career. It's like I feel like if I had a success, that was my window. That's when I did it. But it came with sacrifices. It came with, you throw your life into your career and then you wake up and you're like, what happened in the last decade of my life? And
Yeah.
burnout is real. Burnout is super real. So at that point, I think I had been there for doing that for a decade and a half, 2 years, 20 years probably. And I decided to shift gears. And my real interest from childhood was I wanted to be, Star Wars. I wanted to make movies. I wanted to make
Hmm.
visual effects, special effects. And at this point, through my movie poster career, I was doing a lot of 3D titles and designs and that kind of stuff. So getting really deep into the 3D animation, 3D design and modeling, I ended up teaching. I had a YouTube channel for a while that was teaching people how to use Cinema 4D, and that caught some
Awesome.
traction. I got the attention of a visual effects online school, and they hired me to do a semester of courses for their not channel but their company. And
Hmm.
then it just kind of, all that kind of fizzled out because a friend of mine was making a feature film, visual effects heavy feature film, and he asked if I'd be interested in helping him. And I dove in head first because, like, oh, finally somebody wants me to work on a real movie. And then you don't realize what that entails until you're doing it. It's like 2 years of your life. And
Hmm.
it's like, can we swear on here? It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
really, really shitty pay. It's like,
Yeah.
so now I'm working at the top of the field and doing the movie posters for decades, and I'm making really good entertainment marketing money. And I'm in this whole world. And then you just, hey, I'm going to switch over to like the passion world. And I mean, we could talk about this with the toy making world too. All of a sudden, what that money doesn't exist anymore. And it's like you're hustling and you're working just as hard as you ever did. So my burnout in the industry of working, at least I was getting paid. Now I moved into another industry, working just as hard and burning out even harder on that world. So, and I'm still in that world. I'm still doing both. I still get thankfully I have one of my really good clients from back in the day that I'm still doing really high profile movie campaign posters for.
Hmm.
Stuff I probably won't talk about on here, but um, I'll show you in person. That kind of stuff. And I'm working on not I don't as a visual effects artist. So I in the movie posters I was working on global big blockbuster things that everybody's heard
Yeah.
of. In visual effects world, I'm like kind of a one man army. What do they call it, generalist? So I kind of try and do everything. So I'm working on much smaller budget things that if we're lucky it gets on Netflix, if we're lucky it gets on Hulu,
Hmm.
type of thing. So the budgets are a lot smaller. The work is just as stressful, and then you burn. So I'm reaching second burnout of my career swing at after midlife. I already have my two midlife crisis, and then now I'm in this third phase of trying to figure things out. And that's right around the time when 3D printers started, like the FDM printers started coming out, the like really shitty Ender 3 Pro, where
Yeah.
you spent a month printing parts for your printer to work,
Yeah.
before you
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
even print something for it. And fumbled my way through it. But of course, the first thing that I did was I printed one of my 3D characters that I had been doing. And just that transition, that joy of, you're working in 3D, but you're still on a flat 2D monitor, right?
Yeah.
So even though you're spinning your object around, you're still viewing it on a flat screen. To 3D print it and to hold it in your hand and to finally see something that you created is just like I mean, it's commonplace now in our world, in our little small world that you and I run in. We all do it. People use Nomad Sculpt or Blender or whatever.
Hmm.
We all have 3D printers and we all can do this stuff now. But back then, this was just like Star Trek replicator technology. It's like this thing I dreamed up. I drew as a cartoon that I then turned into a 3D animation. I'm now holding it. This is him. This is my little silly
Oh
character.
yeah.
And this is a FDM print on my really crappy printer, but I was so obsessed with like quality that I was dialing in an Ender 3 to like almost resin quality
Hmm.
on there. Um,
I mean,
what
you
I
have
think,
so much in there that, like, if you're willing to, I want to break down. Like, you jumped massive industry jumps
yeah,
that
yeah.
not everyone sees, and it seems like each one is spurred on because you're trying to close out burnout or like get away from that and start something new.
Yeah, and I wish I could say it's get away because I think there's like roots still kind of
Yeah.
pulling me in. I'm stuck in every avenue of anything that I tried to do. I still do it because of the relationships I've made with the clients
Yeah.
and the people that know that my work ethic is kind of insane, that I will push myself. There was a lot of discipline in the motion picture movie poster world,
Hmm.
that the level of pixel effing that the clients would do that holds you to a bar, that once you leave you still, there's like the psychological damage kind of holds you to that, so you hold yourself to that bar still. So
Yeah.
there's like, I'm always triple checking my work before I send it out because I don't want notes back from somebody. I want like first round
Yeah.
approval if I can get it.
How many
And
first rounds have you actually had? It's
actually quite a bit.
okay, good.
Toward the end of my career. In the beginning, obviously not, but
Yeah.
I still work with people that you get V19.7
Yeah.
rev final dot, and I'm like 1.1 approved, and that's a pride I take. But I'm doing those 19 revisions in my head before I ever even send it to my clients, and I think that's the value that they get out of it. And that was what kept me in the bubble of like, oh, I could charge more than the average artist because they were going less rounds with me.
Hmm.
And people are okay with that. But the whole world has changed. Everything has changed in the last 10 years. Budgets are drastically cut, and turnaround times are drastically cut. And things are like just from my vantage point, it's just chaos. Absolutely
Yeah.
chaos now. And it's not a world that's fun anymore. It used to be great. It's like you used to have bragging rights to be like, I worked on the Matrix poster. That's like, it's on
Yeah.
the side of a building and I did that. And now it's just like, I mean, the quality of the movies aren't even exciting for the
So
most
when you
part,
talk about movie posters, I have to tell you a story.
Yeah.
Um, I know this isn't the movie poster you're talking about, but I used to steal a lot of movie posters.
I'm going to laugh if it was one I worked on.
Who knows? I couldn't even tell you. We were up into like the hundreds of how many we had taken. And we're talking like anything from sizes on like the bus transit things, the giant ones. We found out how to get in there and like take those out. And then we would find ones at like malls and stuff that were like 6 times that size. And we're like taking them. And we don't even have space to hang them. We just ended up collecting all these things to eventually be in the trash. But so when you're talking about posters, though, you're talking massive building cover like posters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Billboards, bus shelters, like you were procuring. And when you go to the movie theater, the actual poster that's in the frame on the wall, that just anywhere from that, including the cardboard standee displays that you see when you go
like movie theaters. Rad.
In fact, I was just having a conversation yesterday with a buddy of mine that I helped design with the company that builds and manufactures the cardboard cutouts. It was a fully larger than life scale Wall-E that was 3-dimensional, all made out of cardboard. So I was working directly with Pixar. I'm getting all of the textures, maps, and everything that they painted Wall-E with. I'm unfolding them. Basically, you worked with packaging before, so you know how to fold a box, and you have the tabs and all that kind of stuff. We literally built Wall-E unfolded, working with engineers, and
that
larger than life thing. And this thing was sitting outside of my office door for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years.
Did you take it?
And I almost did, but it's almost like a piece of furniture you walk by every day and you get kind of tired of it. And then the owners of the company wanted to get rid of it, and they're like, okay, we're gonna break this down and throw it in the dumpster. And I was like, oh, okay, farewell. That was what was Wall-E almost 20 years ago.
2008 or something like that.
Yeah. So now I'm having the conversation yesterday. I'm like, man, I kind of wished I still had that thing, because it was a thing of pride. There's very little thing. I probably worked on 1,000 movie posters in my career. There's maybe 20 that I'm really proud of out of hundreds, if not 1,000 of them. And that thing was one of them. But I also think, where would I have stored it for the last 20 years?
DesignerCon.
Even folded and folded up and collapsed, it would still be taking up space it wouldn't even fit in the closet. It was so big. It would be in the garage somewhere and just getting.
It is crazy hearing. It's a bummer. It's this weird thing, right? It's a bummer to hear how all the stuff in the movie industry is being cut, and budgets and timelines and all these things. And so you assume that there's less people working on it, but the amount of people that come on this show that are animators or like gum it up makers. Danny, he worked on so many different Pixar movies, and I'm pretty sure he worked on Wall-E as well. And it's like, there's so many people that you guys don't even interact. There's so many people that you have no idea who's working on it.
Not a clue. And in fact, a lot of the movie posters that I worked on, I never met the concept guy that came up with the idea.
Insane.
They just kind of push it through 100 rounds, 100 revisions. They finally come up with the low resolution thing they like, and they send it to me and say, okay, make this beautiful.
Yeah.
And I've never met the person who was never in a meeting and that was never involved in the process of it. But it's a really, really weird industry. And when you go to like industry functions and parties, and there's 1,000 people there, and you're like, whoa. I'm working in a company with at most 12 people, including admin staff, and you go to these parties with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, and you're just like, wow, this is where all the Hollywood money has gone. This is where it's it's going to marketing, because most of the budget of a movie is set aside for marketing. And if the movie fails, the first people they blame are the marketing.
Yeah.
Like if a movie sucks, it was the movie poster's fault. if a movie's great, it had nothing to do with marketing,
Yeah.
right? So we're the bastard children of that world.
So
But it
you,
paid well for years. It paid well.
yeah, I mean, and then you said a throwaway comment that we're gonna get to toys. I promise we're gonna get to toys.
Yeah.
You said a throwaway comment that was like the peak of your career.
Of my career, of me, yeah.
You have a lot
I
of
think
life left.
well, yes, but career-wise, I mean, I'm probably old enough to be your dad at this point.
I'm 35, so like,
yeah, I'm hitting 57 this summer, so
okay.
I'm up there. I'm looking to retire. I'm kind of burned out, and especially like I say, the way the industry's changed, the expectations for the lower budgets, and you really, really, really burn out fast. And at this point, it's kind of that what can I do that's going to bring me joy? Because making the movie posters used to bring me joy until it didn't, and then doing visual effects brought me joy until it didn't. And like I say, the discovery of 3D printing, because I had been doing 3D for decades, to finally be able to print stuff. I think it goes back to pre-computers. I'm building model kits, and I got the tester's glue, and you little kid getting high off of glue because you don't, there's no safety precautions when I was growing up. All the paints were enamels. There were no Vallejos. There were no like acrylic paints for models and stuff like that. We're like bare hands in gasoline type of kids, right? And now everybody's like, wear your respirator, wear your gloves, and yes, do.
Yeah.
I have plenty of safety videos on my Instagram about that too. But you forget every once in a while. But for me to be in this digital world for so long, to finally come back to like hands-on, and it happened like right around pandemic. I think it happened for a lot of people with the lockdown. Everyone was stay at home, bored out of their minds. Everyone was starting a YouTube channel on how to, make things, whether it's Warhammer or Terrazy, Boylai Hobby Time, and all those kind of people. Craftsman is a big influence on a lot of us in this world. I'm sure you've heard his name before. He's got videos on mold making, and I think a lot of people, I know Dan Dazer learned how to do his molds from watching Craftsman and those kind of videos. I stumbled across that stuff because he and I were going to Burning Man one year, and I wanted to make a skull mask for my face that was form fitting to my head. So I'm like wrapping my head in saran wrap and masking tape, and I'm like basically paper mache, but I'm using Mod Podge and butcher paper and all this kind of stuff. And I'm on YouTube and I'm Googling like how to make paper mache masks, and I stumble across like Craftsman. And then I'm seeing like all these makers that are doing shit that I didn't even, and I'm like, whoa, 3D printers are that good now? I remember when they were like $2,000 for this little shitty wooden box you had to build yourself. And so that leap happened right around the same time I got an Oculus Rift.
Yeah.
And there was a program called Medium at the time for sculpting in VR. Adobe ended up taking it over, and like everything, they just tank it, and it just kind of disappeared. It's still available and you can still get to it, but it brought me to this world because I tried learning ZBrush, and I tried sculpting in Blender, and I tried Cinema 4D has sculpting too. And it's like my buddy Tony Mora, he sculpts in Blender, and he does a great job, but I just can't get into that head space. I'm a hard surface modeler. I make, things like this. Right? This is all like, this is my astronaut guide, but this is all made with the primitives, a sphere and a donut and a cylinder and so I love overlapping shapes and pushing them all together. So I'm not an organic sculpting kind of guy, but when I got into this VR, it was different than any experience I ever had, because back to what I said earlier, we're working in 3D on a flat 2-dimensional monitor. It's the same as like trying to draw something in perspective on paper, right? In this VR, you're using your stereoscopic vision. You can see depth. You can actually see around your sculpt, and it's like it's in front of you, and it's like this magical, whoa, what's happening kind of feeling. And it really, really inspired me to start doing more and more sculpts. I got Dan involved in it. He got an Oculus. He started doing it, but then he's lazier than me. So I got to charge the battery and I don't want to do that. So
Yep.
eventually he found Nomad Sculpt on the iPad and he lives there, where I still live in hard surface. I'm in Cinema 4D for 90% of what I do, with a little bit of sculpting. And yeah, dude, just getting back into this, building it still is combining those two worlds. It's being in that digital world.
Let's pause this episode. You are so close to being able to get your very own Yearman. Kickstarter launches on June 12th. It is a Toys on Tap and Depressed Monsters collaboration, making a 6-inch soft vinyl Yearman. We have a couple different colorways, some variants with low edition sizes so that they're really collectible. We're really excited for the release. And if you want to be notified so that you don't miss out on the early bird or any of the variants, you got to go to Kickstarter.com, search up Yearman, notify on launch. That's the best way to get in on this. This is our third Kickstarter. I'm starting to fall in love with Kickstarter so much in what it takes to do quotes and packaging and shipping and communication, all those things. And so we pride ourselves on doing it well, so you can trust Toys on Tap in knowing that you're going to get the toy that you paid for, and we will not run with the fund. And so get ready. Yearman is coming. Now let's get back to the episode.
Doing the tools you can do faster, but you don't have to clean up your mess. You don't have your model kit that you got to put away at the end of the day. You don't have to clean your airbrush, and you don't have to do all this stuff. But now it's coming back around. It's like, okay, now I've lived in this digital world. Everything's kind of stale and sterile. I want to get my fingernails dirty, and I want to break out the airbrush again, and I want to start painting things again. And then you discover DesignerCon in Anaheim at the time when we started going. It's like, there's a whole world of people doing this stuff. And this is like, oh my God, well, how do I get in here? And that really sparked something in Dan. And I wouldn't be coming to these shows if it weren't for him, his excitement, and he's doing, his little big guy robot. I think you're talking to him about those. And he started those as we do 3D. So he would model, I would do the 3D printing because he wanted to stay away from 3D printing.
Yeah.
And then he would do the silicone molds because I was afraid of silicone. I didn't want anything to do with that world. It gives me anxiety and I get like kind of freaked out and everything about it. So it was a great working relationship because I could do the prints, clean them, and he would make the molds. But now he's gone fully into the 3D printing himself and doing less of the mold making himself as well. I've never gotten into the mold making. I'm strictly a resin printer dude now. And now for a long time I was just printing shit in gray and putting it up on the shelf and saying, "Oh, good enough. This looks really cool." But then when the shows come along, you realize you got to start painting stuff because nobody wants to come look at unfinished things on your table. Where can we go from here? Like toy design.
I mean, well, you have jumped a second time from movie posters and all that into sculpting and doing that stuff, and then you, at some point after going to DesignerCon, there's a jump to I'm now going to, like, it's this. Yeah. It's you see, I don't know what it is. Like, you see enough of it, and then it's like, oh, I can do that, or I want to do that, or something. So tell me about the first toys that we start creating.
So yeah, that's like, okay, we've committed, we're going. Dan's like, let's do DesignerCon, let's share a table. He's got his robot, and I'm like, okay, here's a bunch of ideas. And
first
I'm going to do them
Vegas, right?
Vegas. Yeah.
Right.
The first one we actually were vendors at was Vegas for us. We had gone to Anaheim a few times, and of course it's, I got the full-time job. So it's nights and weekends and for me, weekends don't even exist. I work weekends and everything. So it's like fit it in wherever you can. Next thing you know, DesignerCon's here and I had nothing. I had a couple prototypes. I think you came by our table. I have the miniature versions of for those who don't know me, I have these little hamburger
Yeah.
TIE fighters. This one's unfinished. They start out, either gray or white resin, and I was smart enough to like do the bun in a couple pieces in the wings and pieces here. Um, I had a couple of these printed up, but they weren't ready to sell our first year in Vegas, so they're basically just on the table. Last year in Vegas, I had a few of these printed up, and the X-wing hot dogs. I don't have any because I sold out. Hey, sold out.
Yeah.
But I decided to do like a kind of like a table sign just to kind of draw people in. So this is the size I'm selling, but these are the big ones. And you can see, as I said, I always run out of time. I didn't even finish painting this one, and then we got the
Oh
X-wing hot
yeah.
dog. Yeah.
It's such a
So
funny concept, and I love
yeah,
it.
and I don't even know where the ideas come from. It's just like silly things that pop in my head, and then I'm like, let's make a toy, and
Yeah.
then you go to the show and it's like, oh, everybody's got skulls and everybody's got robots. Let me make skulls and robots. And so now I'm making, robots and astronauts and skulls. And then you bring unfinished, unpainted ones, and everyone like kind of looks and they nod and they go, oh, that's cool. And then they keep walking along. And then so you kind of realize what works and what doesn't work, what's
Hmm.
oversaturated, and as you can see, my designs are a little complicated. I go a little over on the details on it, so that when it comes to painting, I'm kind of overreaching,
Hmm.
right? And I would love to live in a world of one-offs. Like I have this idea, and I'm going to make one of these things, and it's going to sit on my shelf, and that's great. But
Yeah.
when you have to make 20 of them,
At that
and
size too. Ooh.
yeah, well, I wouldn't. I don't think I'll ever do that at that size. But these, like this one here, just you can see this is even unfinished. But masking and painting this because I thought, oh, I'm just going to print it in one piece, and then you realize, well, there's two sides to the wing. There's two wings to the ship. So that's four sides I have to do, and if I'm doing 10 fighters, that's 40 times I have to paint this.
Yeah.
So I learned from my mistake. I went back to the drawing board. I just posted this last night. I don't know if you saw it, but
Hmm.
I decided to separate the parts and print them in the cut so I don't have to paint either. So
Yeah.
this will be black. The frames will be gray, and they just kind of click into place now. And there's no paint. There's no anything. Now I could just print these out in color, no paint, and then that's a whole step that I can eliminate from the manufacturing of the one man operation toy. That's kind of where I'm going. I'm going back to older designs like the X-wing. I'm gonna separate, like as a dummy. I did the hot dog and the mustard and the bun all as one piece. So I have to mask this and paint this at the smaller scale. It's even more ridiculous. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you know Dr. Toys, Dave
Yeah. Yeah.
Russell. He came up to me first year in Vegas. He goes, "You didn't separate the mustard, you dummy! Like why are you making your life so hard?" And it's like, okay, these are the things you don't know till
Mhm.
until you're there, and that's what you learn by doing it wrong.
Let's pause right here. We are so excited for the upcoming shows that we're going to be at. We're slated to be at least 3 more this year. If you want to come see us, come hang out, come see us. Pasadena DesignerCon in June is the next one. And then we're jumping up to Godzilla Fest in September in San Francisco. And then we are in Vegas for DesignerCon. So we're really excited about all 3 of those. We cannot wait to see all of you, to come talk toys, all those cool things. So stay up, come see us, come say hi. Yeah, I
So
mean, what's crazy about your booth, I have the sticker book that I bring to all the conventions, and even your stickers are massive. Like
yes.
there is something about the reality of like, oh, I just want to do it big. And I think what I was drawn
Yeah.
to, like, those are fun, and I'm always drawn to an artist that does all of it. That designs the toys, paints the toys, designs the
Yes.
stickers, designs packaging, everything. And it was cool to see you guys there. Because I mean, I love toys and love meeting people. And then you came up when I was tabling at Indie Toy Con and showed me like, I'm always looking for new things to do, especially when bringing other people's work to life. And you showed me something I hadn't seen, and there's a love for skirting the copyright line with
Yes,
Ninja
yes,
Turtles. I do that a
yes.
lot. And
Yeah,
which, as a side note, I just spoke to someone that worked with Ghostbusters. We were having a meeting about something else, and he saw the KMB, and he was like, "Yeah, if they would have seen that, they would have got you." Which
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah,
scary.
yeah.
Thankfully,
Yes.
it's retired. Um,
Yeah.
you came up, you showed me these designs you were working with, and I think
Little prototypes. Yeah. Mhm.
what's cool about you as an artist in general is like you don't just talk about it. It's usually in the bag, like that you have. Like you just start pulling out prototypes,
Yeah.
which I love when
Yes.
artists do.
Yes.
So tell
Yeah.
me about Nubs.
Okay, so Nubs is born out of frustration of everything we just talked about. I overly detail, I add too much
Mm-hmm.
detail to my designs. They're difficult to paint, they're difficult to assemble, there's multiple parts. What can I do to simplify my life? I need a really simple idea. And I sat on the iPad one night and I just did a simple shape like a pill, like a capsule
Mm-hmm.
pill, and cut it in half and added some eyes to it. And then I just had this idea, like, what if it didn't have a face? Like, let's make some rules here. And it's everything has got to be the same shape. It can only have eyes, and then some defining silhouette that you will instantly recognize as your favorite character or franchise or whatever. So Indie Toy, I ended up bringing. They weren't even resin yet; they were just filament test prints I showed you, and your eyes lit up like.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew I was onto something because I got you excited about something, and I brought you. Do you want to see the painted version or the unpainted version?
I mean,
Here.
it's crazy. I have for every podcast, so I get really fidgety. And so for
Yeah,
every episode, I'm like messing with stuff while we're
yeah,
talking.
yeah, yeah.
And these are the things that I'm
There you
messing
go.
with.
You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I brought prototype Batman, Spider-Man, and I think was it like Jason from Friday the
Yeah.
13th. I
Mm-hmm.
think it was this here. And your eyes lit up. You got excited. You said, "Let's talk. Let's talk." So we started talking, and then by Indie Toy, not Indie Toy, that was Indie Toy. By CollectedCon, I showed up with painted prototypes,
Yeah.
and that's what I'll show you here. And this idea is like so ridiculously like it just I can't stop coming up with characters.
Mm-hmm.
I sat down one night and I drew 40 ideas. I mean, obviously R2D2 should be one of them
Yeah.
for obvious reasons. And I started with the superheroes, and then of course I had to lean into. I think you even asked because I didn't even have them yet at Indie Toy, but these are
Yeah.
the painted prototypes for Ninja Turtles,
And the G.
or as
So
I call them, actually copyright. These are the Teen Mutant Nubs, right? So these are not Ninja Turtles. These are
yeah.
Ninja Nubs. Yes, yeah,
I think that like what is enticing is you're hitting things. So in now making toys, you're hitting things that is insane with the ability to make new things off the same mold or make them
yes.
like repeatable or affordable, or like you're hitting these things. And I have a soft spot for that. Like I love producing whatever we produce. But the idea is like I want to always see if we can produce more, and so the
Well,
KMB.
the light bulb went on over your head. You
Yeah.
said one mold for this guy. Where's the? Do I have an unfinished one here? You said one mold for this guy,
Mm-hmm.
and now you've got four. You know, you cast it in a base color, and then you just do the paint on the bandana.
Yeah,
So
and so
now
it's like
you just got four toys for one mold. And I saw just light bulbs going off in your head, and that got me
yeah.
super excited about
Because that's
that.
like, and then what I do with the kaiju claws, I'm always looking for new things. So always like, how do we push it in different things? And so We have flocked ones coming. There's
Oh,
like
cool.
translucent, any color you can do, glow in the dark.
Glow in the dark, yes.
We're
Yeah.
messing with scented vinyl now, and
Oh, cool.
it's
That's
which
great.
is I got sent the factory sent me 4 samples, and one of them smells crazy, but the other ones are fine. And so we're working on
Like
trying to
crazy
make.
bad or crazy good?
Yeah, it just smells like baby powder-esque, I guess.
Right, right.
Um, and they only do 4 colors, so we're working with them on like, I want to do a pink claw, so can you guys do bubble gum, and like, how do
Oh,
we
that's
get
cool.
you?
That's really cool. Yeah.
So there's all kinds of things. So seeing your excitement with the toy, one, lit the spark for me. Two, what the toy was, what it represented, and three, that it's a toy that can hit a market that may not
Yeah.
be able to afford buying
Right.
a big toy on your shelf.
A collector,
Yeah.
hundreds of dollars of something. Yeah. And then if you go mass production, like we've been talking, you get that cost down even lower
Mhm.
than me sitting there toiling with a 10x magnifying glass trying to paint
Yeah.
each one of these by hand. Yeah. But lending to the ideas, you know, the nod to Kenner Boba Fett,
Mhm.
Bender, we got a Frankenstein. Did you see Hellboy at
I
CollectiCon?
don't think I did. I do like
I sold
Hellboy a
it.
lot.
I sold it to Last Goldfish. He
Yeah.
loved it. So I'll have
Last
more of the
Goldfish.
Hellboy for the next one. But yes, the mass uh, production, because I'm trying things like printing masks to
Mhm.
try and help me airbrush, and it failed. Every attempt failed. So I was literally in here with a paintbrush the morning of collected con, still like putting the clear coat on these things just to
Yeah.
have them done in time. It's just because I'm never prepared for the show.
And what's
But the
helpful?
ideas, the ideas are so simple to create, because every one of these I've been throwing up on the screen to show you, I literally did all of these in one single night. Like
Yeah.
this is a. I thought it'd be funny to do a Pokeball
I
as
was just
not a
gonna say that's
ball.
what that looks like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then my first attempt at a human figure without a helmet.
Yeah. Leia.
Yeah, yeah. So, and then one last one. I think I haven't shown. I think I showed you this. It's gonna be Pinhead from
Oh,
Hellboy.
cool. Oh, yeah, you did, because you had one that
Yeah,
had all the pins in it.
yeah. They kind of fell out here,
Yeah.
but so the idea just keeps like, here's another one, here's another one. And so it's kind of endless. So I wanted to give you kudos. You were producing a series a month or two back, like every day or every couple of days, you were releasing tips
I
to
still have
improve
more.
your
I just took a
brand.
break from it. Yeah.
Those are so, I mean, let's stop talking about me for a second. What you have done for all of us, what you have brought to the community is just invaluable. I think your energy, your positivity, your knowledge, and your guidance, and just helping people is fantastic.
Thank you.
And the tips that you're sharing, like one of the best pieces of advice I got from you was, you were talking about trying to have a cohesiveness with your brand.
Mhm.
Like, don't be one of those guys who's all over the place. Like, because people, I think, if your words were something like, well, what is it that you do? You do everything.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the bubble I'm in right now.
Yeah.
I'm making hot dogs, and I'm making skulls, and I'm making astronauts, and I'm making turtles, and all this stuff. I think this finger puppet thing was my subconscious listening to Abe tell me, find your thing. And I don't necessarily, I'm kind of in this analysis paralysis, like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And it's like, I want to make what I want to make. That's why I come up with silly ideas and I do it. I don't want to make what I think people are going to buy, because then I'm not making it for my joy. I'm escaping to this world because of the burnout of working for clients and other people's concepts and ideas. I want to be here to bring my stupid ideas to life. But then I start second guessing that. And it's like, well, if I'm doing this, shouldn't I give the people what they want?
Yeah.
So, like, necessarily, like, I'm not necessarily in the world of the minion thing, but how could you not make a nub out of the minion,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
They're already that
So
shape. Yeah.
yeah. So that I'm kind of leaning into that. I'm taking that opportunity to more or less get out of my comfort zone and say I can make something that's not necessarily something I would make for myself, but I think there's some value in this. But that comes from your advice is just kind of be cohesive in what you're doing, and I'm trying to bring that all together. I've kind of become the food guy in a way with
Which is
the
good. Yeah.
yeah if I can show this, you saw this in person.
Mm-hmm.
This is just Kentucky Fried Cthulhu. um it's just a silly idea,
It's so
but
good.
it's one of my favorite
Yeah.
pieces that I've done, and of course it's shameless, put my logo on the bottom. But this was so much work to
Yeah.
paint. Like the modeling wasn't too bad. um it was the painting that was difficult, and I'm realizing that's where I get overcomplicated. Instead of solid colors, I'm doing the gradations, I'm doing the airbrushed buns, and I'm doing the crispy coating on the KFC. That's where the nubs come in, to just solid color, like
Mhm.
one shot, one color, one accent color, and be done. So I'm trying to simplify, and hopefully I get there. And I'm still doing the level of art that I want to do,
Yeah.
but I'm making it easier on myself because I don't live in a one-off world. I'm living
Yeah.
in a world where, since CollectiCon, I've had 4 people want Ninja Turtle nubs, and that's I got to do 4 nubs for every order. So that's
You know what you just tell them? You say, no, not yet. They're coming.
they're coming. Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm interested in your career because you're headed towards retirement, or you're chasing retirement.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And you're
I'll be
still,
dead before I retire,
yeah,
but yeah.
you're still tied into some of these like different aspects of your life, of different art things, and now you're moving into toys. And so, I mean, looking at your life and your career in making and art, where are you headed?
That's a question I'm asking myself every day,
Mm-hmm.
because back to the conversation of motion picture advertising world and the budgets that we were used to in that world, marketing, advertising. Those budgets don't exist anymore, even in a perfect world, even if we were still cranking out the movies that we all love to go see. I think a lot of factors happened in the last 6-7 years. Pandemic, people stopped going to movie theaters. Movie theater prices. I went to go see Obsession the other day.
Mm-hmm.
2 hot dogs and a drink was $30.
Yeah.
Like, that's obscene. Like, how, especially with, I won't get into the economy crisis we're in right now, but how does anybody afford to do anything right now?
Oh yeah, you don't.
And yeah, and that's also bleeds into our toy world too. So now you're making sculptures, art, and you want to sell them
Mm-hmm.
for this blood, sweat, and tears. This, I didn't make this in a couple of hours, so I can't sell this for $20. I got to sell this for something, but I will never recuperate the my time that went, my, like, if this was a billable job, I would never get, this is thousands of dollars that I
Yeah.
put into this, and I'll never sell it for that. So that reality sinks in, that I can't make a living doing this at the level that I'm doing it at, unless I'm doing like solo gallery shows and that kind of stuff. Um, and I don't know
Yeah.
if I'm gonna get there with cartoon food. So I don't know. I don't know where I'm
Mm-hmm.
headed. I actually don't know where I'm headed. That's why I'm still toiling over the visual effects and working on movies and doing
Yeah.
movie posters and that kind of stuff, because you got to pay the mortgage, you got to pay the health insurance and gasoline, unless you drive an electric vehicle, right?
Yeah.
Um, So I think for me, it's still, it's feeding the drained
Mhm.
soul. It's for me, it's more about the community. It's more about making the friends at the shows. They're becoming family. And, the more shows we do together, you and I have a running joke about hot dogs. And,
Mhm.
it's like, it's for me, going to the cons is like summer camp, and I get to see my
Yeah.
friends every couple of months. And I'm lucky if I cover my table costs because they're getting absurdly outrageous.
Yeah.
Even I split my booth fees with Dan. And even then, it's like, kind of crazy prices for this stuff. Um, Luckily, we're not in a world of gatekeepers, though. I think everybody's super open and everybody's super super helpful, sharing tips and tricks, and um, I think I'm on a chain with 5 or 6 different people, and we're all sharing ideas and bouncing ideas around. I don't know if you've seen on my Instagram. I don't know if I should talk about it, but I built an IPA distiller so I can
Mhm.
clean my dirty resin.
It's wild that you did that. I've never
I
seen
I
anything like that.
I picked that trick up from a guy at Decon in Vegas 2 years ago, Frank,
Mhm.
and he gave me the whole shopping list and how to build the whole thing. It's pretty dangerous, because you're mixing heat with alcohol and that kind of stuff, but there's no open flame involved in it. But that kind of knowledge and safety, you got the respirators on, you got ventilation. I'm in a garage, I'm not in the house doing it, and I've got all that kind of safety precautions, and then never leave it unmonitored. But now that's kind of led into other people going, oh, hey, can you clean my
Mhm.
IPA for me? Because it's like $40 a bottle now for a gallon of IPA, and we all use IPA to clean our prints.
Yeah.
So now it's become a kind of a like, hey, if you do this, I'll like do this, and it's kind of a barter thing. And that, I don't know, there's just this camaraderie and this really great family that's coming out of it. And
Yeah.
I think that's my. I didn't answer your question though. Like, where is it going in the future?
Well, you did a little bit, but I think, I did watch those videos because I think you called it was like the forbidden sponge or the forbidden
Yeah,
fruit
yeah,
or something.
the forbidden. What I did, Tony Morris one time he called it forbidden flan, because
Yeah.
when you extract all the alcohol out, the resin goo is left and it's all jiggly,
Yeah.
like
I
custard.
you're just you're describing something that I think people crave, especially in the US, like predominantly in the US, because other countries do it well, is they have something called a third space, right? So instead of just going to work and home, there's another place that exists for community and for all those things.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
and
Mhm.
it that's what keeps mental health, like it's one of the factors of like it keeps mental health at bay, or like in a um like a good spirits, or it keeps it like in check, and then
Yeah, yeah.
it also like keeps burnout at bay sometimes. And what we're seeing is the thing that we, like myself included, that we love in the third space that we want to be a part of, also costs a substantial amount of money.
Yes, it
It's not
does. Yeah,
just like we're all
yeah.
going out for a drink at a pub.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
we're
yeah.
all
It's a
tabling and hanging out.
pretty heavy investment. Yeah, the point of entry, yeah, is not cheap. I mean, you start out small. I mean, for anybody listening who's getting into it, who hasn't done the investment yet, get a bamboo A1
Yeah.
mini printer just to get started. They're, couple $100, and you can start experimenting and tinkering. I still prototype. Like I told you, the nubs I brought to show you, the first nubs I brought to the show were filament print, because resin is a mess to clean up, and unless you're doing it daily and you're out there anyway, it's a pain in the butt to kind of get all your tools dirty, get your space dirty. Just crank out your idea, see if it's working, test it for scale, and see if it's the right size. And I mean, that's why the first Spider-Man I did was way too big, and I ended up shrinking him down because
Yeah.
I did a print and I realized it was too large. Um, so it doesn't have to be super expensive. There was a kid at Indie Toy making amazing little robot things, and then
Poly
um,
poly
no, oh man, I bought one of his the
okay.
Mechie thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are great. Those are resin. There was a kid a few tables down, he was doing them all in filament.
Mm.
And he had dialed it in his settings, like I was showing you my very first. I was obsessed when I first got into the Ender. I was getting really good settings. Now I get sloppy and lazy, and they're crappy quality, but because I'm just in a rush and prototyping. This kid was doing these really cool robots in filament, and they were really, really good.
Mm.
And if you just do a little bit of sanding, a little bit of Bondo filler, and you can paint them up, knock yourself out. I mean, just get those going to then build up, and then if you sell, you make a little money, and then you can buy your first resin printer, and you don't have to get the biggest best one ever, and you could start out with small bottles of resin. You don't need to get big gallons of it. And there is a way to get into it, but it's I would definitely say tippy toe into the resin world, because it's messy and nasty.
Yeah. You're gonna be at Pasadena?
Yeah.
And
I'm
at
tabling with
Vegas?
Dan. Yeah. We may just be attending Vegas. We're not sure yet. Are you going to go to Vegas?
Yeah, the hope is that I do it under media so I can do more interviews live.
Yeah.
That would be the goal. It only makes it a smidge cheaper to do that. It doesn't make it. It's not
right,
crazy.
because you still got hotel and airfare and gasoline. Yeah. Moving from, I think it's a popular opinion among many of us that enjoyed DCon in Pasadena and Anaheim, that when it left here, it was left a big hole, and it's not cheap to do it. So I think they also, I don't know if it was they saw a threat with CollectiCon, but this immediate pop-up of DCon Pasadena was rather sudden, and I'm grateful for it, because I love seeing everybody, and happy to see it. There's Lightbox Expo coming up in October as well. You had Xander Miner on a couple weeks ago. He'll be at Lightbox. I just had lunch with him yesterday. And that kid, man, he puts us all to shame.
He's so creative and so quick and so good at what he does.
Yeah.
His character,
I'm in awe.
His character Bleb is.
I bought a Bleb.
Yeah,
I got a Bleb.
Bleb is an interesting dynamic because he reminds me of a dewback, and I have a soft spot.
Xander and I had this conversation yesterday, because I said I loved it because I felt like a dewback, and he said Abe said the same thing, and we just had that conversation yesterday.
And so I think that what happens with Toys on Tap, I have a running list of artists that I'm like, okay, these are the ones I want to work with and produce some of these things in soft vinyl. And it's really tough because it's like the cheaper ones, they cut the line. They like the mold price for the Nubs is way cheaper than if I'm going to do a Bleb where it's like five part.
Yeah.
So I have these like running tallies of like, okay, I have these artists that I want to work with, and I have to keep touching base to make sure that they know that like no one's getting brushed off here. I really do want to make that. The cheaper ones just like make it to the top sometimes. Yeah. But yeah, it is. He's a crazy cool guy. And
he lives close to me too, so we can hang out. And that's another discovery. We're going to these shows, and you find out people are local to where you live, and then you find out they're not just like in LA. I'm in LA. Mm-hmm. They're not just in LA. They're literally a 5-minute drive from you. Like Tony Mora, I found out, is a mile away from me. So we're constantly hanging out now. And that's a friendship that came out of Anaheim, I think, years ago. And only just last DCon, we just discovered we were neighbors.
Wild. Do you know Barbarian Rage, Scott?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he at one point hosted this thing where he got a bunch of creators together, and we talked through all kinds of stuff. And he wanted to do it again, but it like kind of fell through. And there's so many that live in the LA area that I've wanted to do like sponsor,
happen,
like Toys on Tap,
big old round
things.
Table.
Yeah,
how cool would that be? Just have like 20 of us around a table,
and it's like
all talking over each other,
and it just like hanging out. Like I used to do this thing. So the things that I bring to. I used to work with students and stuff, and I was a youth pastor at my job way before this. And so one of the things that I would do is help train other ones to like normal stuff. How do we interact with people? How do we continue safety? How do we like grow? How do we, all those things. And we would have all of them get together at like camps and stuff. And we would sit them around a table and I would ask the question, okay, who's struggling with whatever? And someone would say like, okay, I can't figure out how to do this. And I'm not going to answer it. So I just pointed to the room. I said, okay, you guys, what is she supposed to do? And I think sitting around a table with a lot of creatives in the toy space saying like, who's struggling? Like, and I don't want to hear things like, I'm struggling with Instagram, or like, what are the aspects that you're struggling with? Because you have 9 people sitting around this table that can help you.
Right.
And those are the things.
Yeah.
I don't know what that would be. I don't know what that means.
Please send me an invite if it happens, because I'm gladly pull up a chair to that table.
Maybe it's like we rent a back room at a Denny's or something. I don't know.
Yeah, dude, why not?
Dude, it's been so good having you on. The last part of
thank you so much
of the podcast. Please plug everything, how people can get in touch, what you've got coming up, shows that you will be at, all the good stuff.
Okay. Great. Thank you for having me here. I don't feel like I deserve a seat at the table.
That's
yet,
crazy.
I'm a newcomer, but seeing your enthusiasm in the Nubs, that's basically what I'll spend most of the time plugging, because that's, I think, where I'm going to be focusing a lot of the work effort here. I only do Instagram. I've been told like maybe there's a place on TikTok for toy people, but I have very limited time in how to manage my social stuff. Been having a lot of fun like posting reels and things on there. A lot of the making of and the behind the scenes stuff. I'll be at DesignerCon Pasadena with Days of Toys, table 818 for anybody who's going to be there. And then I'll be seeing everybody at Lightbox. I'm not tabling, but I'll be walking around there. And then maybe we'll see you guys in Vegas, DCon, if we feel
up for the challenge.
The love. If we feel the love in Pasadena, we may do Vegas again.
Sweet.
So we'll see. The budgets are tight, so I don't know if we can afford to. That'll be 3 shows in 1 year.
It's a lot.
Yeah, especially when I'm struggling just to complete stuff for one show now. And it didn't help that CollectiCon and DCon were only 2 months apart. So
that is tough.
It was hard to. I mean, I'm not even ready. Oh, I didn't even show. Okay, we'll end on this.
Oh, the giant one is rad.
I can't believe I didn't show that one. Yeah.
That is so good. I will say, for marketing purposes and stuff, I'll pay for all supplies and stuff, and I'll pay you for your time, but we need to make a turtle one for sure.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But that's down the road. Dude, Tony,
we should probably make it bigger, like you could actually fit it on your head.
Oh yeah. That's crazy. Tony, thank you so much for coming on Toys on Tap.
Thanks for having me. Looking forward to seeing you in a couple weeks.
Heck yeah.